interesting is because I think everyone tries to read and remember quite a lot. Even in the medical field as well, it's the same thing. However, when it comes to recalling, that's where the problem happens. Even in the field of medicine, cardiology, or any other person as well, everyone, as I said, it read. But can we help them recall as well things? So, as we all know, so memory is about not just to be able to read or take in, but take it out as well using the brain. Okay, so how well are we able to reproduce or recall as well whatever we have learned or whatever has been taught to us, in fact? So there are various types of memories which we all are aware of. Okay, can anyone try to recall what are the different types? So, what are the different types of memories? There are various types, isn't it? I'm sure you all are very much aware about it. So there are different types of memory called as semantic memory, which is associated with the words and symbols. Then something like the remote memory. Remote memory is like how the data was collected over time. So for example, something like a working memory, so which is extremely short term. Like so, for example, 2 hours back, what were you doing in the hospital? There's something is called as the episodic, which is called as the recent experience. And of course, the learning as well can be done in different ways. So, for example, there are a lot of people who are visual learners. So, visual learners will be, as I said, it is they will be able to recall those things which they were able to see, and how to increase the visual learning. As I said, it is the easy way is try to write down the things as you remember them better. Similarly, you can also copy over your notes. So rewriting helps, and you can try to use different colors, and also you write the vocabulary words on the index cards. So even for that as well, try to use the colors. Then comes the auditory learners. So they are the ones, who will be even trying to study when someone is talking or hearing the information. So they will be able to remember it well. So, for that, one should be able to recite out loud whatever you want to remember. Okay, so one can even write vocabulary words on the index cards and review them frequently by reading them aloud. Then, what is the hepatic learner? So, hepatic learner is what happens is they will be able to, for example, make motions or actions. So for those kind of people, I would suggest is one can close their eyes and even write the information on an air or even on a desk. Okay, so to memorize, pace a walk around while reciting or looking at a list. So one has to figure out themselves what type of learner you are. Are you a haptic learner? Are you an auditory learner? Are you a visual learner? Okay. And always remember, one of the key things is your brain never forgets. The information is there inside, but the only thing is you just need to be able to recall it better. And of course, yeah, it tends to keep the things which interests you even more. So we tend to remember 10% of whatever we read, okay? If we hear something, 20%. And if we have seen that, 30%. And if there is a mix, so as I said it, see and hear, 50% of that. And if we say something, 70%. And if we further add it up with the doing, So it goes up to 90%. And during reading or any kind of such learning activity as well, attention and selection is important. And why is that? Because the first process of memory is attention. There's much more information in your environment than you can process at any given time. One must make choices, whether conscious or unconscious, regarding what you will attend to and store in your memory. So, according to the sound, that is the acoustic code, what it looks like, what is the visual code, and finally, what it means, that is the semantic code. On the basis of this, you can encode the information on a number of different ways as well. So, one of the important things is how to retain the information, which is the storage. So, again, it can be short term, again, later on, which can, of course, go to the long term. So, between that, you have to keep on repeating those information at regular intervals. You have to practice it further and think about it deeply. So, if you keep on thinking about deeply or elaborately by drawing connections, then that is where it will go into your permanent memory. So, the important thing for us is like retrieval. How about the retrieval? So, this is the process of actually remembering something you want to. So, there are different techniques which is available. So, learn from the general to the specific. So, you have to try to make it meaningful, make more creative associations, learn it once, but actively. And then after that, you must be able to relax. And after over a period of time, you must recite and repeat it as well. So, how creating pictures helps you? So, for that, draw diagrams. Something is called as mind maps. Try to read about those mind maps. You'll be fascinated about those mind maps, how it can be created, and how it can further help you to remember and recall the things. And as I said, make your pictures more vivid, create action, and you can turn the abstract ideas into concrete actions or images. Now, coming to the other techniques. So, what it is, I would always suggest try to use those memory cards. So, these cards can be 3 into 5 sizes, which can be having the summary. Uh, Try to reduce your interference, okay? And it is better to overlearn rather than underlearn. And as I said, it try to escape the short term memory trap. Means go through it again and again, again and again. Try to use good amount of light wherever you are trying to read as well, and distribute the learning. So, for example, if I have to learn 10 chapters, I wouldn't learn those whole 10 chapters at one time. No, I would do like this: 1 hour at 1 o'clock, the second chapter at 2 o'clock, third chapter at 3 o'clock, like that. Try to divide them, give some gaps as well. And what I always used to do was, initially, if I have to really read 10 chapters, I will do a quick reading of the other 10 chapters, give some gap, and then go one by one. Okay. And at the end as well, once I think I'm done, I will revise them all as well. So that is also pretty important. Then choose what not to store in the memory. So you should know what you don't want as well in the memory, okay? Don't try to overburden your memory. Then you can always try to combine memory techniques. So, for example, remember something else and notice when do you remember, and always use it before you forget it. So, more often you use it, more often you will be able to recall. So, for example, uh, you read about the functions of the muscles. Oh, for example, the cardiac output functions. So you need to be able to use it. So use it as, for example, next time when you auscultate, think about it. Okay, so this was the cardiac output into the heart rate. What is the equation? Okay, so cardiac output is equal to stroke volume into the heart rate, isn't it? So what was the stroke volume? How much is the normal cardiac output? So more and more, if you use it often, this is how you will be able to recall it and remember it as well. And then any kind of information, try to categorize it by the grouping using the alphabets or even the chronological orders as well. Yeah. So the other thing, what happens? R- Raj, who's this guy? Extra smart guy, huh? Can you delete this, RJ? Yeah. Please, yeah. Please ask them to delete this stuff. Screen. Can you see? Yeah. Can you see on the screen? It is written like this. Video pause. Otherwise, please call that person and or message them. Gosh, what nonsense these people. Yeah, please tell them. Yeah, yeah, please. Yeah, yeah. Thank you. So now coming to the other memory techniques. As I was telling you, what happens is the real learning tends to happen after 24 hours whenever you have read something. So, and if you have understood something at all, try to reinforce it as well. So, in 1 hour class. And one important thing is try to periodically move the material from the short term to the long term memory. So, if there is anything as well, if you have to remember a few words, you can try to think of making a rhyme or a song of facts as well. So, for example, if it is about alphabets, so you can think of making it like those twinkle twinkle little star and all, isn't it? It's nice. So, similarly, loci systems. So in that, what you can try to do is you can create a visual association with the similar locations and can help you remember things in a particular order. Then something is called as a peg system. So peg system, what you do is you try to employ the keywords represented by numbers. So what you do is, for example, if you have to try to remember a shoe, okay, there is a bun in the shoe under the tree close to the door. So you try to put them in numbers of like one, two, three, four. And so one represents the bun, two represents the shoe, three represents the tree, and four represents the door. Okay? So whatever techniques I'm telling you, they may not be always easy. But so the important thing for that is you should try to revise it as well. Whatever I'm trying to tell you the techniques, not all will be suitable to everyone. However, so what you should try to do is try to use those techniques, whichever you find it easier, use them. Okay? So then one of the important things comes for us is like how to remember the names, isn't it? We all always get confused. Like, so for that, the important thing is recite and repeat in the conversation. So even when you're speaking to, so someone's name is Maria. So you can tell Maria, you're doing really good. Maria, really nice to see you. Maria, you have a, so more often you use those names, it will help you to remember them as well. And yes, you can ask the other person to recite. You should also use the visualization of that.